Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's kick off today's video with a story about how one guy's routine car wash nearly became a grand theft until a brazen would-be thief learned the hard way that locked doors aren't just polite, they're essential. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with a turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. When locking your doors pays off, a car wash tale from Albuquerque. Yesterday was one of those days where you'd expect something mundane, like a trip to the car wash, to go off without a hitch, and for the first few minutes it did. I pulled into one of those drive-through car washes where you clean the outside in the tunnel and then pull into one of the designated parking spots to dry, vacuum, and detail the inside. It was a quiet afternoon, only 4 other vehicles were in the entire lot, and with 22 available spots, we were all spaced out comfortably. Like the others, I parked far from the crowd so I could have room on both sides of my van. Now, I'm a guy who prefers practicality, so I carry a small messenger bag instead of stuffing everything into my pockets. When I parked, my bag was sitting in the front passenger seat, visible through the window. Normally, this wouldn't bother me. I was close by and the lot felt safe enough. That said, I'm always cautious. Living in Albuquerque's taught me not to take chances with petty crime. This car wash offers loaner towels you can use while detailing, which is nice. I grabbed a couple and returned to my van to get started. I opened all 4 doors, both the front doors and both sliding side doors to make cleaning easier. Everything was going smoothly. That is, until a guy in a beat-up sedan pulled in. Despite all the available parking spaces, this guy decided to park right next to me. Not even a buffer space, just bam, right next to my passenger side. It was annoying, but I didn't say anything. Maybe he was just one of those oblivious people who don't think about personal space in parking lots. But then I realized something else. With him parked so close, my messenger bag containing my wallet, phone charger, and a few other personal items was now in plain view and easy reach. I wasn't about to take any chances. So I worked on the passenger side first, wiped everything down, vacuumed the seats and floor, then slid the side door shut and locked it. I shut the passenger door next and locked that too before making my way around to the driver's side. Not even a full minute passed before I heard the click-click of door handles being yanked. I looked up and sure enough, Mr. Beater Car was trying to open my locked passenger door, brazen as hell, like he had a right to my stuff. I didn't hesitate. "Yeah, I already locked the doors," I shouted. His reaction was pure toddler-level meltdown. His face turned red, and without missing a beat, he screamed back, "F you, a-hole!" Then, in an impressive display of both rage and stupidity, he punched the side of my van. Now, I drive an older model, built like a tank. His punch probably hurt him a lot more than it did my vehicle. I watched him shake out his hand, jump back into his car, and peel out of the lot like he was making a getaway from a high-stakes crime. I stood there, blinking. And then I laughed, loudly, gave him a one-finger salute as he tore off, still probably clutching his aching hand. Once I was sure he was gone, I walked around to inspect the damage, but you know what? There wasn't any, not a single dent or scratch that I could see. If he thought he'd at least leave a mark, he failed at that too. So I finished up, shut and locked all my doors as usual, and drove to the store like it was just another Tuesday. Because honestly, it kinda was. I always lock my doors unless I'm actively using them, especially when I'm out in public like that. Living in a city like Albuquerque, you learn that it only takes one dumb decision to lose your stuff or end up in an altercation. I only had everything open because I was the only one nearby when I started cleaning. Lesson learned, even when it feels safe, someone's always got to test the limits of common decency. Anyway, no harm done. My van's fine, my stuff's safe, and some guy out there's probably nursing a sore fist and wondering why his bold attempt at theft got him nothing but a bruised ego and some scuffed knuckles. Too bad you weren't with someone. You could have pulled a reverse Uno card and have a friend steal his car while he was trying to steal your bag. And our second story. Sometimes gym lessons come with bruised egos and trapped rib cages. Back when I worked at a small local gym, there was a slow stretch during the day when barely anyone came in. It was one of those quiet times where you could practically hear the air conditioning hum over the sound of weights clinking. The gym itself wasn't big, just two main areas divided by a large U-shaped bar. One section had free weights, benches, dumbbells, and barbells. The other had weight machines and cardio equipment. One afternoon, my buddy dropped by to get a workout in. He was a great guy, easy to get along with, upbeat, but he had a serious habit of overestimating his abilities. Recently, he just managed to hit a personal milestone, bench pressing 100 kilograms, about 220 pounds. Understandably, he was riding that high and wanted to replicate it. That day's goal was clear in his mind, hit 100 kilograms again. Knowing his limits pretty well and not wanting him to get hurt, I offered to spot him as he set up on the bench. He brushed me off with a confident, "Nah, I feel really strong today. I got this." I raised an eyebrow and asked again, "You sure you don't want a spot?" But he doubled down. "Nope, I really can't do this. I don't need your help." All right then, I didn't press further. I walked over to the machine area and waited, but I kept an ear out because I knew what was coming. Sure enough, within a minute or two, I started hearing the familiar sounds, heavy breathing, grunting, and that little panic strain in the voice that tells you someone's bitten off more than they can chew. And then it came, shouted across the gym like a distress call, "Dude, help me!" I walked briskly, not ran, there's a principle in play here, over to the free weight section, and there he was, flat on the bench, barbell pinned to his chest, looking both embarrassed and desperate. I stood there for a good 10 seconds, just laughing. He tried to shoot me a look, but given his current state, it was more, "Please save me," than anything intimidating. Finally, I helped him lift the bar off his chest and re-racked it. He sat up, red-faced and panting, but he laughed too, knowing he'd brought that on himself. To his credit, he wasn't mad, and we both had a solid laugh about it afterward. But the best part, this wasn't the last time he'd insist on not needing a spot. He never truly learned. I guess for some people, humility needs to come in sets and reps. This is exactly why you never skip the spotter. Bravado can turn a routine lift into a near disaster in seconds. Watching your buddy learn humility the hard way is equal parts cringe and comic relief. Cringe because you can almost feel that weight pinning you down, and comic relief because nothing says lesson learned like a barbell kiss to the chest. At least he walked away with a good story, and a reminder that pride comes before a painful fall. And our last story. They stole my gas, so I had their illegal car towed and crushed, then their mom tried to sue me. It was just another Monday when I woke up because I heard someone making noises on my territory. I went outside, half asleep, and the smell hit me before I even reached the truck. Gasoline, or rather the absence of it. Someone had siphoned my entire tank. The ground reeked, and there was a slick trail of spilled fuel running down the pavement. So not only were they thieves, they were sloppy. Luckily, my neighbors have security cameras that would make the Pentagon jealous, so I got footage that morning, and oh, buddy, it was like watching deleted scenes from Breaking Bad Budget Edition. Two teenage boneheads in a rusted-out Crown Vic creeping down the block like they were auditioning for Dumb and Dumber 3. No plates, no lights, no attempt at subtlety. The car looked like a retired police cruiser that lost a fight with a garbage truck. These two geniuses live just down the road. You know the type, spend their days chain-smoking in the parking lot of the local chicken shack, their windows rattling from a subwoofer that probably cost more than their car. I could have called the cops immediately, but no, this wasn't about the gas anymore. This was personal. I called up a buddy who works in code enforcement. He was delighted when I told him I wanted to file for a nuisance tow. He flagged it with the local PD and gave me the green light. If I spotted the car parked illegally, I could have it yanked. Sure enough, 2 days later, I found their rust bucket slumped over a curb on a quiet side street like they were trying to be slick. I called it in, hitched it to my tow truck, and dropped that beast off at the police impound. That's when it got really good. The cops ran the VIN and burst out laughing. The car hadn't been registered since 2011. Title still in the name of some guy who sold it under the table years ago. Insurance? Non-existent. And thanks to all that, it wasn't eligible for return. The city could process it as an abandoned, non-operable vehicle, which meant one thing. It was getting crushed. The officer handling the case looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Go ahead and take it to the junkyard. We'll issue the certificate of destruction." Sweet music to my ears. Now, while all of this is happening, the two Einsteins are trying to figure out what happened. They thought one of their friends stole the car as a prank. And I'm not kidding. The ignition was so worn down, any key could start it. Might as well have been a public bus. They asked around town, tried to hunt it down, and eventually tracked it to the junkyard. Like true professionals, they hatched a plan. One distracts the owner, the other hops in to steal it back. Unfortunately for them, the junkyard crew already knew the story and had a little fun of their own. They'd removed the drive shaft that morning. The car wasn't going anywhere. Ever again. Cops were waiting. The moment the teens tried to move it, they were arrested on the spot. Theft, attempted grand theft auto, trespassing, the works. And to really drive it home, I showed up just in time to watch the crane drop on that Crown Vic like Thor's hammer. Steel crunched, windows shattered, the entire car crumpled like a soda can. It was glorious. I felt like a proud parent at a demolition derby. But it didn't stop there. Cue Karen. Yes, one of the teens' moms and our neighborhood self-appointed screecher-in-chief showed up at my door that night, finger wagging and fire in her eyes. Karen, you stole my son's property. Me, he stole my gas. That property hadn't been legal in a decade. Karen, you think this is over? Me, oh, it's over. The police, the city, and the junkyard all disagree with you. And if you want to sue someone, start alphabetically. She ranted, threatened lawsuits, called me a heartless bully. I told her calmly that she was lucky I didn't press charges for theft and trespassing. She stormed off, but not before declaring that she'd be posting about me all over Facebook. And boy, did she ever. According to her now private page, I'm somewhere between Satan and a mafia hitman. She painted her son as a victim of vigilante justice. Naturally, no one believed her. Turns out most people like having their gas tanks intact. And her kid, he hasn't left their trailer since getting out of jail. Last time I drove by, I saw they replaced the Crown Vic with a Jeep Liberty Beater. No plates, of course. Already reported it to code enforcement. Next time they park it in public, I'll be there, towing hook ready. And this time I'm bringing popcorn. Karma's a beast. They got what was coming to them. You played it smart, worked with the system, and got results. Don't mess with people's property. It's just not worth it. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.